Episode 2 here, back with another episode of my TARDIS tutorial. In this episode we're going to be making a deadlock for the TARDIS. This is basically going to allow you to toggle whether you want entities other than the player to be able to enter the TARDIS, because right now it's really just a player who has the TARDIS key, and this will allow you to allow more entities to enter the TARDIS. For this example, I'm just going to be using cows, and you can see right now nothing happens. If they go up to it, they can't go in. No matter how hard they try, I can't let them in until we use the deadlock. So let's head inside and check that out. So I've got a new control on the console over here, and you can see it kind of mirrors the lock on this side, except this one is the deadlock, and it will affect what entities can get into the TARDIS. So when the light is off like this, that means only the player with the TARDIS key can enter. However, if we turn this on, it'll say deadlock released, and now really any entity can get into the TARDIS. So if we head outside, and because the chunks weren't loaded, if something was out here it wouldn't really go in, but we can push things in from out here if we would like, or if the chunk was loaded, stuff could just walk in on its own. But let's just say we had a cow out here, and we punched it toward the TARDIS. You can see it disappeared and it made the sound. You know, any mob is capable of entering the TARDIS now. And you can see if we go inside the TARDIS, all of our mobs are in here. Yay! So yeah, the entities can now enter the TARDIS. They can't really exit on their own. That's something I may need to find some kind of solution for. But it is kind of neat that you can get them in here on their own now. And if we turn it off again, entities will no longer be able to enter. So now the deadlock is sealed again. So how does this all work? Well, it's actually all right here just because I haven't put it into the corridors yet. But you can see we have our deadlock thing, and it's just these two, and then this is just messages and sound effects, which of course, as always, are optional. And that's just as simple as detecting if the block at the certain coordinates is a comparator on subtract mode. You do repeat, always active, and then you'd measure that with this comparator here. And then you just do a sound effect if you want it, and a say command again if you want it. And then this obviously just inverts so that when it turns off, this will turn on, and it'll tell you the opposite. And over here obviously is the start of the show. Now these two command blocks here, basically this one is repeat and needs redstone. It can be always active, but I just put a lever for testing purposes, so I could turn it on and off at will. But anyhow, we have execute if the block at the very same coordinates as the other command is a comparator on mode equals subtract. Of course, if you want to find these coordinates, you can either just stand on top of it and press F3, or if you wanted, you could do a set block command looking at it. And if it finds that comparator with the mode of subtract, it will run the execute command, executing as the TARDIS at itself. In the overworld, that bit's important because we are going to run a teleport command, and we are teleporting any entities within a distance of 1 block or less. That's what these two dots mean. And then the type of entities. This is where you can limit what types of entities can enter. And in order to say that an entity shouldn't be able to enter, you just put a exclamation point before their name. So I did type equals player, and that's just because player can enter with the TARDIS key. Of course, if you wanted any player to be able to enter, you would just take that away. Although I would imagine that would cause some bugs when, for example, you exit the TARDIS, because at that point you would be within 1 block of it, and you just get teleported right back inside. So yeah, it may not work too well with players. However, if you would want, you could also exclude other entities like type equals armor stand, or a painting, or an item frame, or a glow item frame, or really any other entity you want. However, I thought just limiting those ones would make sense. And then where are we teleporting them? Well, this is our destination here in yellow, which is at E, the entity known as name equals door, limit equals 1. And of course, you would have to see my tutorial on the movable doors in order to understand this. We just basically made an armor stand entity that marks where our interior doorway is. Of course, if you don't have one of those, you could just do coordinates if you'd like to. And this command block right up above is a chain conditional always active command block. And this one, of course, you're going to want to be facing the same direction as this arrow. And this one is just a play sound command. This is of course optional, but you would just do execute at E name equals TARDIS, as at A distance equals ... 10, so within less than 10 blocks, run play sound, and then whatever sound you want. This is a sound from my custom resource pack, so it may not be applicable in your case, but whatever sound you want, and that's really all there is to it. So yeah, obviously the actual Deadlock itself really just boils down to this command, which is just teleporting whatever entities are within a distance of 1 if the comparator is turned on. And all this other stuff is really just visual and auditory stuff, which is really optional, but yeah, extremely simple feature, but I think it's kind of neat, and it could be fun, honestly. But yeah, that's really all there is to it. This has been my Deadlock Seal feature. Hope you all enjoyed. I've been Tebow2. Be sure to subscribe, to follow my Instagram, Tebow2at, to follow my Twitter, which is also Tebow2at, to join my Discord, and lastly, to have a nice day. Goodbye.